I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh**. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. We made it. Last workout of the week. Just starting to feel good actually. So yeah, I think the things that I have sort of built over a long period of time are really good habits and routines. So even when I'm not feeling like training, I just have a really solid habit of training and I have a plan and I just kind of roll through the plan and there's no real questions about it a lot of the time. So even when I'm not feeling like it, miserable, not enjoying it, whatever it might be, over the course of a long period of time, I've built habits that just, like I just automatically go into it. To be fair, in some circumstances, that's not an awesome thing. Like there should be times that you take off, but you know, if I'm always, you know, so habitual, I always got to do these things. Sometimes I need to be forced not to do it as well and have a plan surrounding, okay, it's time to take a break. Which I didn't think this week was for me because, yeah, I just came off of being sick. So that's kind of like a forced break. So, yeah, that's the thing. You think about consistency and motivation and discipline and all this other shit. But ultimately, like if you have really good habits, that is done for you. You just do it automatically. And, you know, that sounds a bit, you know, like a lack of freedom or something like that. But for the things that are important for you, making habitual is a really good thing. So, you know, cooking healthy food, you know, spending time with family, all these things that are really important. If you can make them habitual, you don't have to work so hard. Habits don't feel like a lot of hard work a lot of the time. They just happen automatically. So when we can get the behaviors that are important to you, that are leading to your goals or outcomes, habitual, you're set because you just do it automatically. Weather's bad, you still do it because you're in such a good habit. You feel like shit, you still do it because you're in such good habits. Do you know what I mean? Or you've set such good habits. So, but not a lot of people do it. Like not a lot of people are very consistent with things like exercise and food prep and all that kind of stuff. So we're essentially fighting a battle that is not as likely to be accomplished as it is likely. So with that in mind, you know, you got to be the uncommon essentially. So, all right, workout to finish the week is a back workout. Now, still keeping in mind that's something that I am considering doing. Well, I've already started doing is kind of reducing the amount of work that I'm doing per week and per workout. So reducing volume and see if that kind of helps me feel a little bit better about things. So I'll probably apply that to today and then sit down over the weekend and really hash it out and plan it out. All right, let's do this. We've got a nice quiet gym. That's nice. Isn't that a pleasant feeling? The only person here. Beautiful. All right, we go a back workout. We're going upper back first. Start with a big row. Let's go. First movement up. We have this chest supported row. So if we think about the muscles of the back, or the main muscles that we're trying to train here, we've got the traps, which are kind of the ones that attach towards the bottom of your skull. And then they sort of go out towards your shoulder and then they come back down towards the middle of your spine. So it's like a diamond, you would call them. And they do movements such as vertical shoulder, like a shrug, obviously, this kind of backward shrug kind of thing, and then also downward rotation of the scapula. So it's all surrounding the scapula, pulling on the scapula and moving that into different, or your shoulder blade, and moving it into different positions. So if we're trying to train that muscle overall, we probably want to do a combination of those different actions. So things like shrugs, you know, things where the shoulder blades go back and your shoulders get pulled back, and then things where the shoulders also come down. So first movement today, we're going to do a horizontal pulling movement, which is that sort of backward shrugging action. When we do this, we also probably want our arms sort of away from our body a little bit. If we get in really tight, which we'll do later on, that's quite trappy, and that's, you know, latty, when we're nice and close to the body and we're focusing on the lats because they sort of start close to the body and they kind of hook around in towards your spine. So we're probably trying to get our arms, you know, somewhere like maybe even like 70 to 90 degrees, so they're out wide, and that it's now about the scapula's moving like this versus your lat being able to pull. The lats are going to work, and when we do lat movements, it traps can potentially contribute as well, but I'm trying to bias it towards either one when I'm trying to make that the main mover. So we've got this rowing movement, chest supported. I'll reach over, grab my handle, lock in with my strap so grip's not an issue, sit back down with it, let everything protract or roll forward over the pad, and then squeeze at the back. So the chest pad's really good because that lets you roll your shoulders over and stretch all that upper back out over the pad. And then we squeeze that at the back. Roll over, squeeze. I set this far enough away that I can get an excellent range of motion. But yeah, so yeah, volume potentially. We've been doing 3 sets of this. I might drop it down to 2. Just do 2 throughout all the back movements today. All right, let's build up to our weight and then we're on. Seated row variation, and again I'm putting this as an upper back exercise today. Well, actually I did this 2 times, but you'll see on the second time that we are trying to make it more lat dominant, and here we're trying to make it more upper back dominant. So think about the row that I just came from. We're coming here, we're coming across, so it's about dragging the shoulder blades back, and it does kind of dip down slightly. This one now, I'm taking they call it a mag grip. So maximum advantage grip, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit back a touch as well, or lean back should I say, because we're trying to now go up and target a bit more of the upper traps or mid to upper traps. So this, from this position here, lines up such that it's going up, or if I came into this kind of position here, it kind of goes down on my back. So with that in mind, we're just trying to complement what we've already done over there on this variation. So grab the handle, get your strong position, lean back, squeeze shoulder blades, let shoulders roll forward. Again, that's still the same, shoulders forward. But now, in this particular variation, I'm back here and it's going up. So now we're thinking about it's lining up with the mid to upper back versus the other one, which is coming horizontal and kind of dipping down. So just trying to complement those movements, thinking about the traps again as this kind of diamond muscle doing multiple different movements to your shoulder blades and your shoulders, trying to tick all the functions off. So this one, for what we've got today, is for what we've got in this particular program and day, is probably the most appropriate. All right, let's build it up. Let's get it. Back, done. So 2 exercises there, one sort of coming horizontally, one where I lean back, so kind of going up and kind of not fully like this shrugging motion, but certainly going up at least to focus on the upper part of the traps, or more towards the upper part of the traps. Now we change pace a little and we go to lat dominant movements. So lats are a movement that kind of come to attach to the front of your arm, wrap down over your rib cage, head in towards your spine, and also down towards your hip. So the motions they're doing is essentially pulling this part of the arm back and down, like in towards the spine. So it's going around like that. So when we do our upper back rows, our arms come away from our body. When we do things that are designed for the lats, they're usually staying close to the body. So be it horizontal kind of rows, like seated row or another row variation, or pull downs, they're staying close to the body just to kind of keep it as much latty as possible. We sort of go away from the body, rear delts, upper back, start to think they can contribute, so they do. But again, you get a combination of these things. It's not exclusive. It's just that we're trying to bias it more towards one than the other. So this is a pretty cool pull down variation where it's sort of coming on this angle here, which feels really sweet for the lat, and you'll lean to the side. So I do this individually or unilaterally, one side at a time. So we'll come in and grab this handle, lock in with my straps again so I don't have to worry about grip. Get my knee locked under that pad. This one here, I lean to the side to line up with the cable, usually feels pretty good for me. And then we're pulling along the line of that cable. So directly away from where that resistance is pointing is how I like to angle this one. Beautiful, feels excellent. Arm kind of tucks in nice and close towards the pocket. You could do this both arms at a time, but I think to be able to get over to the side here and line up a little bit better, one arm at a time feels a little bit better for me, so I'll do that. So it does take a little bit more time, but it feels more effective, so I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, and this kind of kicks off now our lat work. So upper back for the first couple, lats now for the next couple, and you'll see how the rows differ, or pulling movements differ when they're trying to target the upper back versus the lats. All right, let's get it on. We are back at the seated row machine. So for this particular program, this just seemed like a good option to go here, although I'm back at the same machine 2 times. How I'm doing it is different. So with previous variation for the upper back, I lean back, and in this kind of motion here. This one here is called a flexion row. I'm using the narrow neutral grip. So we're in this kind of position here, and we're actually going to actively flex and extend the spine as well as pulling the weight in. So I'm letting everything flex, stretch all the way in, and then I'm pulling from that position here. Elbows close to the body, big lat, big back stretch, elbows close. So this particular variation, I am leaning it more towards the lats with this narrow grip, but I'm also flexing the spine, so we get some of those erector muscles working as well. Just an overall good back movement, plus that big lat stretch, that's sensational. And then we get to erect the spine as well. So we get a combination of things here to finish off the back work for the week. I like this exercise. I think it's got a lot of merit. But again, give it a try, see how you feel. It's not targeted specifically towards the lats because, yeah, you've got this flexion and extension, but feels good. I do like that stretch though. So in any case that it's, you know, not lat only, that big long range for the lat. The big stretch into that kind of position feels really good. Elbows close, so this one's a narrow grip. Maybe we could go slightly wider with one of the medium neutral grips or whatever it might be, but this is what I've been rolling with for this particular program, so making it lat dominant. What I do towards the end of the sets on these as well is that when I can't finish pulling all the way in, I will continue on past that until I basically can't pull my elbows back into in line with the body. So or you might call those lengthened partials or past failure reps or whatever you want to call them. All right, let's get it on. Back, done. This day, I also do some lateral delt work to, well, more recently, last 4 months or so, to increase the volume for my lateral delts. But again, over the weekend, I'm going to kind of assess the volume that I am doing, see if it's too much, maybe an exercise goes, or potentially reduce a couple of sets. So keep it on this day as well. So on both of my push days, a little bit of lateral delt work, and on this final day of the week, a little bit of lateral delt work. So when I sit down over the weekend, I can either take a couple of sets away from each day, maybe a set from each day or something to kind of reduce some of that, but I'll sit down and check that over the weekend. For today, I'll do a few sets, maybe 3 to 5 sets. I have been doing 5, so pretty high volume for this one exercise. So we'll see over the weekend where I'm going to chop some stuff from. So for today, I'll keep it. This is my variation I'm going to go with today. It's called a behind the back cable lateral raise. So just a standard cable machine here. Kind of like to set the cable about hand height when your hands are directly down from your body, because when I get into position, that'll make it hard from the beginning. This cable machine, you can kind of angle the arms in forward a little bit, so it's pretty customizable. So I've come to this kind of height here, and what I'll do is I'll face in. I'll grab this handle with the right hand, this handle with the left hand, and then as I flip and turn, I'll step over one side, step over the other side. I like to kind of look back and see where the cable is facing, and from where the cable is facing, I'll then judge my path that my arm is going to travel in to go directly against that. So, bit funky to get into position, but again, in the time that I've done this exercise, I really like it, feels effective. Just takes a bit of mucking around to get your position and figure out what works best for you, but once you've got it, I think it's well worthwhile. So if we think about, our lateral delt, it's kind of doing this sort of motion out here into these kind of positions in there. Maybe it's best suited to lining up in that kind of position, but usually, you know, that's sort of coming through the body. So in some variations, you can do them into the body, you can do them across the body, and for this one behind the body, and just to move it through different paths. Just to tick it all off. All right, a few sets here, maybe 3-4 sets, I'd say. Fuck up the lateral delts, and then we'll move on.
Yeah. I'd rather spend some solid money. Well, I'm probably going to spend like $200. You're recording.
Fuck you. Fuck. Okay, so our curl variation today is a seated behind the body cable curl. So we've got the seat set up in front of the cable machine here. Sitting doing this gives us an extra bit of stability, whereas you could do this standing like such, but I like the seat just locks me into place. Arms behind the body. We get a bigger stretch through the bicep. The bicep's actually a muscle that passes the elbow and into the shoulder. So bringing it behind the level of the body gives us a little extra stretch, and that stretch seems to be important for muscle growth. So to set this one up, we'll grab a handle. We'll come in front, take the seat, lock into our position, and then we curl with the arm reached behind the level of the back, or the shoulder going backwards. So this variation, I think, is very good from the perspective of getting that extra stretch through the shoulder, extra stretch through the bicep, should I say. Stability of the chair. Weight-wise, you're probably not going to want to go too heavy, so more of a moderate or high rep range, because you do have to get the weights into position. And if it's really heavy, you've got to wrestle it, you waste a lot of energy like that. So in this, I go a moderate rep range, like maybe 15-ish reps to start off with, and choose a weight that's going to hit that and be difficult at that, not at 6 to 8 for this one, because I'm going to grab the handle, I have to wrestle it in front, and that might not be very good. So 10 to 15-ish reps should do the trick. A few sets here, smash the biceps, get jacked up, let's go. All right, so that is the behind the body cable curl. Very, very nice. Big stretch in the bicep. Excellent. Give that one a try. That stretch position, definitely a lot of value, but also making sure that it is hard in that stretch position. So if you set the cable up sort of down below, it's still not hard at the top because it won't get hard till it starts coming directly against where the cable is angled. So we set it up such that it's at the height that you start the movement essentially, and like making it difficult there. So that's a good one. I've been doing another dumbbell curl variation on my other day where we lie on the edge of a bench like I'm on now. And again, you make it such that the dumbbell, because of gravity, dumbbells are coming down with gravity, the weight, so it doesn't get hard till it starts going up. So training the bicep in the stretch position with the arm behind the level of the body a little bit, but also making it hard there by either setting the cable, or if you're on a dumbbell, you're kind of making it such that you're going up early in the movement. So that's a wrap on the workout, guys. So yeah, I think this week represents sometimes how time can be. It's not always sunshine and rainbows, as they say, and sometimes you just have to grind it out. And you grind it out because you know there's an end result waiting for you. Other times it's awesome and you're having a great time and it's fun and all that kind of shit. And then sometimes it's just like, we've got to get in, get the work done, try hard. And once you get moving as well, sometimes it starts to feel better. So sometimes it's a grind, sometimes it's fun, but we stay in good habits because we know we've got an outcome that we want. We have this goal in mind, or an outcome that we're after, or a person we want to become. So we stick to the things, to the habits, right? We stick on top of our exercise, food prep, recovery, all this kind of shit, because we know there's an outcome. And then, yeah, at the start of this week, felt like shit. Now I feel awesome. It's been a great workout. Yesterday was good. Day before was okay. But yeah, it turns around. So you just got to stick it out, right? And as always, guys, if you like this kind of content, remember to hit my little face up here, hit subscribe. That would be really appreciated. If you want to see how I'm training some of my other muscle groups, hit the playlist up here, has how I'm training all my other muscle groups as well. And always remember, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.